You can't even hear me because I'm on mute right now. I mean, you guys, I was just trying my hardest to get on here, and it couldn't have been the internet, but whatever may have been the case, it just didn't, it wouldn't go for me. It wasn't trying to go. Now it says excellent connection. I'm looking at my YouTube stream. Excellent connection. I should just punch YouTube in their face right now. But I'm not, because I appreciate you. Thank you, you. Thank you, YouTube, for coming on live so people can see me. Thank you, YouTube. But and then on top of that, I have my was it my I can't think of the word I want to use right now. My little picture down at the bottom. I have my picture right, like girlfriend was ready to serve it to you. She was ready to serve it to you. But anyhow, you got not anyhow. Anywho, you guys, my name is Champagne. This is my channel at Better Be Me, where we provide a unique commentary on true crime, what's on the internet, and everything in between. So it's just a hodgepodge of me giving you my unwarranted opinion on the things that I've discovered on the internet. So one of the things I've stumbled across is this page called Pink Book Lessons. Now, I've not I've not watched any Pink Book Lessons. I'm always very leery about these type of shows, these type of the manosphere and woman fear um videos, because I feel like they're just so they feed off of the insecurities and the anger of people who've been hurt. And you know what? It's just like another form of drama. People don't pay money for things that people don't pay money for like normal, reasonable, well adjusted things, right? People don't, if it's a TV show where everyone is just normal and having a well adjusted conversation and everybody's just like, okay, nobody's paying money for that, right? They have to make it some type of drama, some type of issues, right? That's pretty much, that's pretty much the issue with a lot of these things. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna bring you guys a little closer to me. So for me, I personally don't like watching those, because I did stumble upon, like, in my early, like, okay, I gotta figure out why these men suck idea. And one of the things I realized was it was a me thing. And once I started working on myself, I started being exposed to different qualities. And you have a lot of these people who's like the fem cells, incels, I hate women, I hate men, men suck, women suck things, where they've gotten hurt. They've gotten hurt a few times, and instead of like getting back on their horse and getting out there and riding again, they just rather, it has to be other people, right? It has to be other people. There is no way that it could be you could be the issue, because for in your point of view, you seem cool. You're great. Or my other thing is, it's not about it you necessarily being an issue, but it's life. It's life.
Oh,
It's dating.
it's life.
People feel like, oh, and I know that feeling. You feel like, dang, like they got someone, they got something, I ain't got nobody. You want somebody and you want them to work out, but people are all different. And some people, they are going to be able to work it out with you, because at the core of who you are, they love you, they enjoy you. I hate this lipstick. It makes me look remedial. I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with anything, but I just keep looking at it and I'm like, who put that on you? Anywho, but it's a lot of hurt people who's operating from a place of hurt. And I remember this one lady, I was younger, and she was like, there's no good men. All the good men are married off in your 20s, and by the time you get to your 30s, you're getting leftover men. Now, for some people, that might be true. And I have a male friend of mine, Nate, and I was like, Nate, is that true? Because I'm getting scared. And he was like, yeah, it is true. for her. And if that's what you believe, that's what you'll see. There's a lot of good single men out there. There's a lot of good single women out there. There's a lot of people who are in healthy relationships. There are a lot of people who are in unhealthy relationships. You are the maker of your destiny. You are the maker of your journey. You are in control of your journey. But it's easier to blame other people because, again, it couldn't possibly be you. Like, you're not the issue. It has to be other people. So today we're going to watch one of the episodes of Little Pink Book Lessons. It's 18 minutes long, which is perfect. I'm going to try to stomach as much as I can. Now, if you guys, we covered the truth about who did this one is called The Truth About Who the F Did I Marry, Lady No One Will Admit. Now, we covered it already on our channel. If you're new, the Who the F Did I Meet lady was a woman. She goes by Risa Tisa on TikTok. And she got with this guy who she called Legion. And Legion was a habitual liar. Like, he lied about any and everything. He lied about he was going to do this for her. He lied he was going to do that for her. He lied about talking to his family and friends. He lied about so much that she later came to find out that a lot of it was incorrect. It was false, and she married him. And in the video, like, you feel bad for it because you feel bad. People try to come from a place of understanding, and I'm gonna work with you. And there's not a lot of everybody has a problem. Everybody has an issue. But she also acknowledged, like, she ignored a lot of flags. And it doesn't look like she was necessarily trying to get, she was just trying to tell her story. Tell her story, get a couple of views. I don't think she thought that from her story that it would escalate. Let's put a little bit of okay. I don't think from her story she thought it would escalate to the level that it did. It was just like, oh shit, okay. What a plus, and from her dating and from her telling her story, they bought her a trip to Europe. They bought her she got signed by a talent agency, which I thought was a bit much because from what I've seen, it doesn't really look like, not that she's not talented, but it doesn't look like she was trying to be in the industry like that. So it really seems like I don't know what they could fit her in. But if things go right for you, cool. There's been some people who've had some really shitty days. Let her have a good day. But again, let's go into to let's go into it. See what's going on, right? Let's see, Chrome tab. We're going to select a tab. I never could figure out how to make this work. Decide you'll be able to see the contents of your screen. The truth, yeah. Select the tab to share, yeah. Also share this audio, yeah. Okay, but the entire screen, like, it's like you have to share your entire screen, which monkey boot. All right, here we go. Let's open it up. Make sure, I got you on my lower screen. Make sure we are on board with what we got going on. Make sure we are on board. And we are. All right, so let's get into it. Oh, I have it on pause. Hold on. I mean mute, because, and I might put on a mute a lot because we don't want to get a copyright strike. But I wish you could can you playback speed? We're going to do fast playback speed just because copyright, right? Oh, maybe that's too fast. It's too fast, baby. It's too fast, baby. Okay, let's try this again. I appreciate y'all guys being so patient with me. Thank you. That's she came out strong there. She came out strong, but I mean, and I'm going to be as objective as I can, as objective as I can. So let's go. That was unnecessary. The biggest for sure. Wow, highly unnecessary. Like that's a un. I hate when people take shots at people's physical attributes because it's just unnecessary. Like, let me say unwarranted. Unwarranted. This lady, she don't know this lady. That's just unwarranted. Now, I don't know why she says that she believes that he should do that. From watching the stories, it wasn't like it was a demand of hers. It was just like that's what he did and that was attractive to her. I don't think anything is wrong with it. That's like saying a dude who looks at a beautiful woman and she's beautiful and his expectation is that's how she looks. You know, maybe when she takes makeup off, she's not as beautiful, but the expectation is that's what she puts out there and that's what he believes he's going to get. Now, again, it was a people latched onto the story and she's flipping it a little bit. People latched into the story because a lot of people was just like, wow, that is crazy. There were some people who was like, oh, that's crazy that he would do that to you. But then other was like, that's crazy that you would believe all of that. And you didn't fact check as much as you should have. So muted. So let's skip it. Yeah, so skip it. Wow. So that's not my takeaway from the story. That lets you know that she has to flip it for her demographic, right? So she talks about how she was broke. I mean, I didn't get from the story that she was broke. I got from the story that she worked, she did her thing, she met somebody who made more than her. And as a woman in that high position, it's attractive to me, the guy who makes more than you. And then he's like, oh, I can buy you this, that, and the other thing, and I'm gonna get this for you. One of the things she talked about was he would just tell her that this is what he could afford and this is what he could do. So I don't necessarily think that's money hungry. I just think that's, oh, okay, that's nice. You know, you meet a woman and like she tells you, hey, I don't have some guys might be into that. I'm trying to think the equivalent because I don't want it to be money because guys don't care about money. But let's say you are a well-rounded dude who wants to go 50-50 with your wife. And she comes along and she says that she has an inheritance. I mean, you're not really wasn't looking for it, but now that she has this inheritance that she's willing to share with you, it's like, oh, okay, all right, it's cool. I'm gonna still love you regardless, but that's a cherry on top. Again, she keeps calling her broke because she's renting a townhome. That doesn't sound broke to me. Like if you I owned a home. I owned a home. I lived in a home. It was cool. It was more than I really wanted. I was over it. I sold it and I'm down with apartment living. I will probably live in an apartment as long as I could possibly live unless I married someone and he really wanted to live in a house. So I don't get why she keeps calling her broke and bringing up the fact that she rented a house. Um, I do agree with her, however, that 2 weeks, and you remember and this was one of the things that I was thinking during her story. During the pandemic, everyone was quarantined, but when they quarantined, remember people were still having parties, they were still meeting outside. People didn't care. People like gave no F's. But she said that they were quarantined and they were like, okay, do you want to quarantine in my house or do you want to quarantine in your house? Okay, so you've already identified that you guys both like each other enough that we're going to hang out with each other every single day. But like you didn't need to quarantine or stay in one's house. She could leave and then go back to your house and then he could leave and come back to your house. People were still out driving during the coronavirus, but you couldn't go through stores, you couldn't go out and like congregate in places. But you could go to other people's house. So if they were going to quarantine anyway, I didn't really see the point in them quarantining together in the home. But I also understand, and I try to look at things from an objective view. I understand when you meet somebody and you're like, wow, I like this person so much. I want to hang out with you a lot. So yeah, I do agree that that was odd that you feel like we need to quarantine and we need to live together in one's house when that is not what that meant at all. Highly disagree. I could see if she was like, you need to pay all my bills. But some guys will just want to pay your bills. I've not met those guys, but there are some men out there who are like, and I have some male relatives where they're just like, I pay the bills. So there are some men out there who feel like they will pay all your bills. But that is a flag to me, like after such a certain time. So I don't think she's necessarily trying to do a city girl. I think what this woman is really, the Pink Book Lessons lady is really ignoring the fact is that she probably, when you've never had someone treat you a certain way, it makes that person more attracted to you. I don't think it makes her a scammer. It's not like she only dates dudes with money. That's what I think a gold digger is. It's someone that you only purposely go for someone with money. But it was a plus. Like I think that's dumb to pretend like you wouldn't like someone to pay all your bills. Is this Pink Book lady tell me she met a dude and he passed the vibe check and he gave her time and education or whatever she needed and she vetted him properly and he was like, I'm gonna pay all your bills. She's gonna be like, no, I'm an independent woman. I don't need you to pay my bills. No, that's a part of for some people that is a part of a provider. And and you see she's giving him, like, she's calling him an idiot and she's calling her a scammer. Like she's trying to be both, but she's using different language to gain more sympathy for the dude and to paint her as a scammer. People can do that. You can do whatever. Again, he's paying all the bills. Like what lie is there? And how is she getting over? And he's taking, I mean, it's her spot. She she has the home, she has the place that she's putting up because remember, old girl's not, not putting out that old dude was in a studio. He was living in a studio. She had an apartment with rooms and stuff like that. So he came over to her place. So again, I don't know why she keeps trying to paint her like a scammer and like she's a gold digger. She looks like she's been doing things for herself for a while. She doesn't talk about other guys she dated. No other guy has jumped up and been like, I dated her, but let's go. So one of the things she calls her, but again, is unnecessary, but she's ignoring the fact that old girl didn't ask him to do these things. Okay, he volunteered. He said he could do these things. She should have vetted, but he volunteered this stuff. And I understand that. Now my thing is, I don't know how old Risa Tisa is. I don't know how old she is. I don't know how much experience she's had with men. I don't know. But if you trust this guy, and it's logical. I told a story earlier how I was about to go and have somebody's background check pulled, and they didn't tell me everything that was on their background check. So in your mind, you're just like, nah, that's not right because there's no way this guy there's no way this guy would not think that when I tell him I'm about to go apply for this apartment and they're going to do a black background check, that he would lie what's on his background because it's going to come up. And guys do that. You had stories. I've had some females tell stories. I don't want to say females. I have some women tell stories who men have lied to them, and they're about to actually go get it checked out. Dudes have lied up to the point of where they're going to go check it out, and you're like, there's no way he would lie about this because I can check, it's easily verifiable, and they do. And you're just like flabbergasted, especially if you don't have that experience. So I do question how much experience Risa Tisa had, especially when you have a low self-esteem about yourself. And that's what Risa Tisa really comes off to me, that she has low self-esteem. Let's see what else we got going on here. And that's the other thing. Like this whole time, Risa never called herself a victim. She never saw herself as a victim. She never, not once was like she had no accountability. All through it, she talked about she was dumb. Like she was just flabbergasted about how dumb she was. You could tell in the way she was telling the story. She wasn't asking for sympathy. Um, and one of the things she this is why I do agree with the whole decentering men from your relationship, because you want to be with someone so bad. You find somebody you like, and I'm sure the sex is good, and he seems cool, and you don't have a lot of guys who come your way. You may not have a lot of guys who come your way, and now you got this guy who's not only looking your way, he likes you, out the gate, boom. She missed on the fact that when she met old dude, she had a flat tire, and her tire blew out. And the guy came and found her, paid for her for a new tire. So he came out the gate with money. So again, and she didn't ask him to pay for the tire. He did it of his own accord. So she's just telling it from a one-sided view, but I get it. She has an audience. Now, it is true. Now, I will go with PBL is correct. She discovered within the first month, the first when they were trying to get the house, and he was wishy-washy about putting in the offer. And the guy, the realtor that she was working with, was like, "Where's the offer?" And she's like, "He should have put it in." And no dude was like, "Yeah, I put it in." And she was like, "Okay." He was like, "I put it in with my friend." Now, I have experience with real estate. I know that you can't just put an offer in with a realtor who's not associated with that property. You can't just go and put it into your just because your friend's a realtor. You can't put it in there. This is why people have to educate themselves more. This is why women and men need to travel more and educate yourself. Because to me, yeah, that was a dumb move. I don't know how much knowledge she has of real estate, because people think differently. And that's a problem with a lot of people. People think differently because of their experience. People think based off of their experience. So, as someone with that experience, I think that's dumb. But I'm sure there's experience that she has and PBL might have fell for, and she's like, that's dumb. Everybody has different experiences. So I'm 50%. Yes, she's absolutely right. You should not be getting pregnant by nobody within the first couple months. You shouldn't be moving in with them. Like, oh girl moved way too fast. But I think she's saying that she's entitled, but I don't think she feels entitled. I don't think she feels like she deserves a high value man. I think feels like she deserves love. And when you don't feel good about yourself, you're going to stay in situations longer if you have a bit more self-esteem about yourself. I- That's weird that she calls her a Jezebel because she's not trying to persuade someone to be with her. She's not dressed sensually. She dresses very conservatively. Um and then like, oh girl admitted like, hey, she took accountability and she still is getting flamed. So that's odd, but all right. I, I don't understand that. Like, I always ask people, like, what is accountability to you? And I actually went on my Facebook page and I posted a question of what is accountability to people, because I was really curious of what that looks like, because I know a lot of people were like, oh, she's not accountable. And I'm like, well, what is accountability? Like, what do you guys? So I asked, what does taking accountability for your hey Google, stop. What does taking accountability for your actions look like? Someone says involves apologizing if necessary, keeping your word. It means if you wrong someone, apologize for exactly what you did and your actions afterwards matching that. Simple acknowledgement by apologizing and change behavior afterwards. Depends on what you did. Accepting blame and the good and improving yourself. So this applies to her. Accepting the blame and the good and improving yourself. Ownership of wrongdoings and mistakes, standing on what you said or did and accept the consequences. It to me, it seems like she is being accountable for her actions. When people say that she's not being held accountable, like, what does that mean that she's not being held accountable for her actions? What does that mean to y'all? Wait a minute. She was reaching. So wait, she said, what about his self-esteem? He paid bills and spent thousands of dollars. But he lied though. He didn't even have to. I think if he came into the situation and he wasn't trying to pay any bills, I think she probably still would have went for him. She probably still would have messed with him the same. I mean, women will lie to themselves. You don't have to lie to women. We will lie to ourselves. She would still stay with him. So he spent money because he wanted to. She didn't ask him to do that. He did it. So just like she wants her to be held accountable for the decisions that she made, he needs to be held accountable for the decisions that he made. He lied. If old girl met a dude, and let's say old girl met a dude the way that he did, and old dude still steady lied to her left and right, she would still be mad at old dude because of the lies that he gave. Now, granted, she vetted him more and she didn't do what Risa Tisa did exactly, but the fact that he was deceitful you went into this and you're thinking like, hey, we're on the same page, that sucks. It's okay to say that that sucks. Let me see what some of the people were saying down here, because they're probably, oh, she should have named it "How Many Red Flags I Ignored." I agree with that. How is she quarantined with someone after 2 weeks? That man, yeah, I do agree with that. So a dude with money picked her instead of 130-pound Patty. This whole story, and see, and not exactly what he's. That I agree with him, but like people are going to shit on her because of her size. They feel like because you're that big, you don't deserve certain things in life. One thing I knows about the story is not one time did Teresa ever say that she and Legion had a connection, was able to share their hearts with each other. Everything, I do agree that, she did, she was more fixated on what he could buy her. I will say that. Do I think she's a gold digger because of that? No. I think it's just because she's never experienced that. We've all experienced connections. Many of us have not experienced a connection with a man who also pays for everything and takes care of you financially. And it's nice because she looks like a chick who probably has always paid for everything. She's been the breadwinner. She's probably paid for everything. You notice she never mentioned anything she ever did for him. She didn't, but I don't think that was the focus. But she didn't mention that. Despite if he lied or not, he paid all the bills and everyone just jumped over that. So lying, it's cool that he lied, but he paid all the bills and that makes it okay? Let me see what people said. Exactly. You caught that, paying all her bills with the catalyst behind her belief. She used them for that. She still ended up for nothing. Who was she taking care of? I don't know. Like, I don't doesn't it even out if he asked for money? In other words, she was looking for help. Exactly. So he could have been that broke, regardless of what he paid. Here we go. Regardless of what he paid, lying to not take your woman to the hospital is a scumbag move. She believed the lie, but the guy is still a deceiver. Yeah, he still sucks. Like, pretending to truly love a man when you're only there for the financial promises isn't deceiving. Even her friends told her something wrong, but she wanted to see how much. I don't think she was there for the money. I think it was truly a, like, if I didn't do the mental work that I needed to do, I probably would have fell for that. Because again, if you're a woman who's always paying, and she tells you she has a good paying job, she probably has paid for everything. She's probably done 50/50 or paid for everything. You meet somebody who's different than other guys, of course it's going to stand out. You finally got somebody who's going to like take care of you after you've taken care of some people. It looks nice. Let's see. What does paying the bills have to do with the damage all his lies caused? I've tried to make money the reason for everything. Yeah. When you meet a man who can pretend for 5 years that he's someone he's not so good, that he has everyone fooled, and when you leave after finally realizing that he never loved you and you were in the problem, you're being gaslighted and manipulated for his own ego and happiness, everyone says you must have done something to cause a breakup. And then you spend 3 years to relearn how to. Oh, this is personal. That's truly personal. Mm. You can't con people unless they're greedy to begin with. I don't know about that. She tried to shame the man and ended up exposing herself. After he paid her bills for months, she stole all of his stuff while he was clearly having a mental crisis, and she got him locked up and got rid of everything he owned. She's horrible. Wow. As desperate woman for a man, she could be a dangerous woman. They would put their lives in danger. Yeah, I will say she's desperate, and that's one of the things she talked about. I think is important for her. I'm glad she came out with her story, because regardless of what PBL is saying, um, there's a lot of women, especially younger women, who's going to fall for this. They're going to fall for this. Just because you take the word of somebody who you really are into, you really care about, you take the word from them. And let me tell you this, she loved him at least some sort, because she saw the lies and still married him. You know, she knew something was off and still married him. She's had some type, or she could have been digmatized. I'm always curious about the sex. You know, someone says she should prioritize her issues, not his issues, starting with health, weight loss, finances, self confidence. I do agree with that. I do agree that she has self confidence, and you know, if some women are overweight and they're super confident and they get everything they want, and some women are overweight and they're not confident. So I don't know um, if her weight relates to how she feels about herself, but I definitely will say, one, the lady left and right was like, it was my fault. I can't even be mad at him. Like, it's me. It's my fault. I did wrong. Like, we've been there. We've been in a situation where it was like, you look out, you look back, and you're like, that was just dumb. And so my other question is like, okay, so if he did all of that but went 50-50, like, would she still be viewed as a scammer? If he still lied to her and they went 50-50, would she still be a con artist, a scammer, a grifter? If he did all of that and she paid for everything, she would still be dumb. Like, I do agree, she did not handle that situation well. But I have been in relationships where I didn't handle things the best way, and it's because of the self-esteem that you felt. You feel like you can't get any better than this. You feel like, wow, I should be. And people, you know, dudes will tell you left and right, you should be happy. At least somebody is doing this. So I think for her, she felt like, and you know, she feels like that because there's people in these comments who are who's kind of like indirectly saying she deserved it, and that her weight can't get nothing better, everything. And why that is, a woman like this doesn't normally even get the man she's describing. So why, when by chance she got him, she didn't even realize that's her first flag. You see that? She said, my wife and I did live about it. And what I kept saying is that a woman like this doesn't normally even get the man she is describing. So when she by chance got him, she didn't even realize that's her first red flag. So, okay, so let's look at that sentence. He's basically saying, because of the way she looks, she wouldn't get a man who makes that kind of money. A man who makes that kind of money would not be into someone like her. Okay. All right. So right there, you have people who already feel like if a dude has that kind of money and that kind of looks and they're coming after you, you should already know it's a scammer because they're not looking for someone like you. that kicks you a little bit in the self-esteem. So you know the world looks at you like that. But when you do find a guy who comes at you like that, and it's not like he's an online scammer, this is a guy who's in person, he's showing her stuff, he's showing her a bank account. He's being there for her. You know, and if you see him again, another my other issue is like they're hyping him up like he's he's a 10. Dude visually is like a 4 or 5. So it's not like he is very much on a higher level than her or anything like that. She makes money. And Risa T said she makes money too. Like, she's not broke. She has a good job based on what she said. She has a good job. And so that's weird to me that they're kind of like propping him up a bit, like he's just like this 10 because he makes his money. He makes money and he looks like a 4. Okay, he's not that highly attractive. You see his picture, he's not well dressed, he's not well kept. Well kept. He I feel like visually they're on the same level. I don't feel like she's greater than him. I don't feel like he's greater than her visually. They're on the same level. But the fact that people are saying this, that she doesn't even deserve someone like that, you can naturally see why she has low self-esteem, because she, you know, people say that to you. People feel that about you. And it's hard not to internalize that to yourself. It's hard. So another thing that everybody didn't point out in here is that he had 3 people come out and talk about his lying and that he's deceitful, and he makes it, you know, he goes above and beyond. He's much. He got some mental issues going on. He swindled like 2 other chicks who came out and was like, yeah, he did that to us too. And they didn't talk about that he was paying for stuff. He was just an extreme liar. He was a super liar. And the reason why I feel like that he was paying things like that is because he saw the way Risa carries herself. He knew that she had enough money. The only way that he could really come correct enough is if he paid for things or had more money, because he knew that she was about her business. She had her own spot. Her place was nice. She dresses nice. Her car is decent. It's not like a super great car. So I think that in his mind, the only way he could really pull her, and she even makes comments that he said that in one of her lives, that he basically did all that because he knew that if he came as he was, he wouldn't be able to pull her. So he had to have a little extra I had an ex say that, I felt like you wouldn't mess with a guy like me because I'm not making that kind of money. So he had to tell these lies. But like, he should just be honest, because I still would have messed with him because my self-esteem was low. I low self-esteem. So how do I feel about LBP? Is this a channel that I would watch? Or PBL? Is this a channel that I watch? Do I agree with her? Well, I don't. Let me be honest. I give her 50-50. She's one of those people where it's like, I tell her how it is. I tell you how it is. And you need those people. But I also believe that you do get a bit more, you get more results with sweetness. And I didn't feel like it was necessary to call her a bird, to call her that she was big. Girl has self-esteem. Obviously, she has self-esteem issues because she stayed through all of that because she felt like that was the best that she can get. When you are with someone who's like that crappy, you feel like that's the best that you can do. So you over here telling her all of this, it's not, you're not trying to help her get better. She's not trying to help her be better. She's not trying to help her do better with her life. She's using her as a way to tear her down. Like, you can use her experience as a teaching lesson, because I think it is a teaching lesson. Oh, girl made a lot of errors, and she wanted something so bad that she was willing to overlook it. Do I think that Risa Tisa, once a man is out here looking for a provider or trying to be a city girl? Absolutely not. You see how she's dressed? Absolutely not. You, and some of you might be like, well, because she's a big girl. Big girls out here dressed like city girls too. So stop it. That's not. I don't believe that that's necessarily what she's looking for. She's well spoken. She's not out here. She's not a hood rat. She's not ghetto. She keeps herself nice. I think that she just has that low self, and I don't know how old she is. You have women who when they're younger they're desperate, and when they're older they're desperate because they want that marriage, because it's so pushed to get married. And I think marriage is great. I think it's wonderful. But you have to be okay with who you are. You have to be okay with yourself. And I think that she wasn't. And she was very honest. She wanted to be her time. She wanted to be me. And girl just kept, PBL, she just kept glossing over that. Just kept glossing over the fact that girl is taking accountability, that she really she wanted to be with someone. So my response would be like, look, I get it. I know you want to be with someone. I know you want to love somebody. It's hard out here in the first streets for a player. It's hard. But work on yourself. Work on elevating yourself to the best way that you can be. There are some guys who will probably reach out to her, and who every dude who has money is not going for the same type of chick. I know some guys who not like they married her skinny, she got big, but these guys are well off and they married some big women. I don't think as a big woman that you should take less just because you're bigger. I do think it's important that everybody takes care of their health. But if you're confident in who you are, then, get what you want. And if you feel like that, hey, I'm out here using a certain type of bait and I'm not picking the fish that I want, well, look at the fish that you want and try to study the fish that you want and change your bait. That's what it comes down to. So I do think, like most people in the femcel and incel department, that PBL is like a sensationalist, right? She's only telling you one part of the story. She's framing it up with a little bit of truth, but a lot of just slantness. Oh girl, yes, I do agree with her that girl, she made a lot of fuck mistakes, like a lot of unnecessary mistakes, a lot of unnecessary situations. She put herself, it was unbelievable, but I think many women and men who have low self-esteem have probably put themselves in. If you probably sit back and look at a situation like, I don't know why I did that. That was so dumb. Like, I enjoy being older because just you make, at least in my older, some people don't, but in my olderness, you make so many less dumb decisions. Like, there's going to be the things that you can vet it out 1,000%. There are people in finance, they can vet things 1,000 different ways, but they still will mess up just because that's just life happens. But if you know a stock is bad, you're not going to buy a bad stock because you know it's going to do poorly. And when it does poorly, you're not going to, you can't be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. So that's, what I look at her as. She got into a situation, but she wanted love so much. And I think that's what PBL really ignores. But I think it is important that women see that story, because you are living in a sort of in a delusion. And not in a delusion of I'm trying to be a city girl, but in a delusion of this dude is lying to you. Once he said that first lie, I understand some people get, I have a friend who she got married within 3 months of knowing a dude. They've been married for 20 some odd years together. So sometimes that works. I don't know what the percentage of. I don't really hear too often that people meet someone 3 months and it works, but it's out there. So maybe she thought that was her. Whatever is the case, I don't think anyone's rewarding her for being dumb. I think there's just like, ooh, you're kind of like, you feel bad for her because you're like, really? So you never picked up, you just stayed in there like like a little. She even talked about how she went to counseling with her preacher. She got, because here's the other thing that I want to point out, that people point out, well, women are always filing for divorce first. Women file for divorce the most. Okay, so she's actually trying to save her marriage, right? She doesn't want to file for divorce because then people will be like, oh, women are always filing for divorce. You had a man taking care of things, you should be happy with him. A lying person is bad character, you guys. I don't care what positive things they're doing. They're liars. You should not be dating a liar. The way they're trying to paint him, like, oh, he paid for all the bills. You beat the crap out your wife, but you pay for all the bills. That makes you a good individual? Like, people, they're just as wrong. They're just as wrong as her. If they feel like, well, she was with him just for the money and she's a gold digger, well, they're gold diggers too, because they feel like he's a good guy or he's a decent guy because he paid for the bills, because, the money. Everybody knows that money is important. I feel bad for her. Just for what she had to go through. And it was nice that those other women jump on and they supported her. I don't think she went on here trying to get anything. It was just a byproduct of what happened. So, what are your thoughts? Would you watch PBL? I can't say that I would watch it often. I would only watch it on things that I've already watched. But usually, again, we come to the same. I come to the same idea that, oh, girl, well, she could have did better. But oh, girl, actually admit that she could have did better. I do not agree with tearing people down. Especially their looks, unwarranted, unless you're a 10. And I've never seen any pictures of PBL, so she better be a 10 to be talking about people's looks. You better be a 10 for calling these women, and just flamingos, and that's not cool. That's highly unnecessary. And here's the thing: you can even give the truth. And give the real of, that was silly for you to do that. That didn't make any sense. You can give the real to people without tearing them down in the process. And that's what's wild. You tear them down and then you expect them to do better. Why would they? Their self-esteem is down there. Some people love tough love. Some people need that tough love. They can work with tough love. That ain't everybody. It's not everybody. That's why some people, when they go through bullying, they commit suicide. Everybody ain't about tough love. So, but thank you guys for joining me. Sorry I'm so late. We'll watch something next week. Choose out to something a little true crime-ish. I try to mix it up. I don't want it to always be true crime, because I'm not trying to get you guys to just throw yourself over the bridge or anything. All right, you guys. Be safe, be sound, be loved. Bye.